Okay, welcome to having a look at the next lot of work for bivariate data. So we're going to look at, we are going to have a look at, just making sure that I was definitely recording, looking at bivariate data when we've got numerical and numerical. So we're going to have a look at scatterplots. So you should have done quite a lot of this in year 11, but we'll just recap, obviously. Okay, so looking at the graphical display of numerical and numerical data, so you've got two sets of data and we're looking at how they interact together. Just again, it's really important to define what the explanatory variable is and which one is the response variable. It's not always set out nicely in the table, and you will have to sometimes make some decisions about that, especially on your SAC and also in the exam. So your explanatory variable always goes on your x-axis or the horizontal axis, and your response variable goes on the y-axis. Okay, always. So we are going to, you will need to know how to do a scatter plot by hand to some extent. In the exam, you probably wouldn't have to do a fully scatter plot by hand. You may have to add a point or put in a regression line or something like that. So you will need to know how to plot points. So for example, if we're looking at this example here in your notes, so investigating associations between two numerical variables. So constructing a scatter plot, that's this little guy here, to display average hours worked, the RV, against the university participation rate, the EV, in 9 countries. So they've defined what the RV and EV is for you, so you don't even have to think about it. So each of these values, so for example, this pair is an ordered pair, where we go EV, comma, RV. So the EV comes first. So the university participation rate was EV and this is RV. So our first ordered pair would be 2635. So you would find 26 in your x axis and then find its the little buddy here over here, so 35. So that would be your first point. Once again, this is a repeat of year 11. If you are having trouble with this, you'll need to reach out to your teacher and get some support around that. There's also lots of videos online to help you with ordered points and sketching, drawing scatter plots, etc. But I'll get into the more pressing things in this part of the chapter in this session. Okay, so you could go along and plot all of those by hand, but let's have a look how to do it in a CAS. Now I've got this little guy. I'm hoping this is working and you can see this. So I've got the emulator on my iPad here, so just so you know where I'm going. So I'm in statistics and here's some data I prepared earlier. So just remember, in our list 1 goes our EV, explanatory variable, always. List 2 goes our response variable, always. Do not rename any of the list names ever, because it just creates more work for you later on. We don't want that, and in exams we run out of time, so we definitely don't want it. If you are using a TI calculator, unfortunately you will have to rename your list. So if you've got the black calculator, you will have to rename those. There's lots of support in your textbook around that, so that can show you how to do that. So I've entered in the EVs here, and I've entered in the RVs here. Okay, so I think this is hours worked and that one is participation, I think. Yes. Okay, so to look at a histogram, not a histogram, a scatter plot. I'll get it right eventually. What we want to do is we want to, as per the instructions, we put in our data and then we want a graph. So this little icon here, this will bring up this template here, and we were looking at this when we were doing box plots. So if you have changed any of these, we want this to be on scatter. It might have been on medbox before, or histogram, whatever exercises you were doing just before. So we want scatter. We don't change any of these because X list is still our explanatory, Y list is our response, so we leave those as is. We set, and nothing happens when you do this. That's because you have to click this one up here to show your scatter plot, and that's how you get your scatter plot. Now with your stylus you can hover above your points to see where they are. And it will give you the coordinates down the bottom of the page. You can also get a bit of an idea of the scale that they've used as well if you hover along. So that is how you do a scatter plot on a CAS calculator. Hopefully that has helped you. Please let me know if you need any further explanations around this, and yeah, hopefully it's helped.